Welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time, and I always said I would do videos if I have something to say. And today I've got something to say. You're probably wondering, first of all, why Jess Franco's in the background on a video review of a film that had done anything to do with him. I just like it, and you know I'm a big Jess Franco fan. I think Jess Franco is a misunderstood director. And the director we're going to talk about today, perhaps I misunderstood him as well. And today's film we're going to be talking about is Citizen Vigilante 2026, starring Armie Hammer. This is a really interesting film, and I recommend highly that you watch it. I know a lot of people, it's got a lot of harsh. I mean, you got people on opposite sides of the spectrum on this thing. It's basically a revenge movie. And if you like revenge movies, like I Spit on Your Grave, I think you're gonna like this. I liked it a lot. Now, I will say, is Uwe Boll a good director? I think he's getting better. I have to give him a lot of credit for taking on this kind of material, because this is very important material that we're talking about today. Basically, the film is about a guy that is taking the law into his own hands because the justice system is failing his country, and that resonates with me, quite honestly, because I really believe that we've had, prior to Trump, we've had just an open door policy that all of the nations that saw this under Biden and Kamala Harris said, well, let's just empty our prisons and send the worst of the worst up here. And I'm not saying every single immigrant that's come here is bad, but I am saying that there's a lot of bad. And if you don't believe it, and if you don't want to acknowledge it, just look at the news every day. Whether it's the UK or America or France, you're seeing illegal immigrants from Africa and the Muslim countries and everywhere that's that's just taking full advantage of the culture and values that we've established in the West and destroying that. It's a serious problem, and I think that whether you like Trump or you hate Trump, we needed Trump, in my personal opinion. Now, let's get back to this film, and I'll talk a little bit more about the politics of this. But basically, this guy, the film starts out with an illegal immigrant that just walks past a white woman and cuts her throat, and you've got the typical Uwe Boll over the top gore with jetting, the gore, the blood splatter gore, that it looks ridiculous. I mean, there are some scenes in here that's ridiculous. That's one of them. It's over the top effects, including a scene where like a SWAT team is trying to put a stop to this guy, and he shoots them all, and it's just over the top cartoon type graphics. But other than that quibble, I have to give Uwe Boll a lot of credit. Does he handle the subject matter in a subtle way? No, not at all. It's basically a hammer over your head. So, I mean, from a director's standpoint, he's obviously not the most subtle director in the world, and he's not the most gifted. Let's just be honest. But I give him all the credit in the world for taking this material on, because I think that it's, as I said, I think it's a much needed discussion. And it's certainly a counterpoint to the radical leftism that's going on in the U.S., particularly, where we've got everything coming out of Hollywood is so woke. I mean, I really try not to get on here and bitch about that stuff, because I don't really care, honestly. If you don't want to watch it, you don't like that kind of stuff, don't watch it. And that's what I choose to do. but it's hard to avoid when you turn on the TV and every commercial is an interracial couple or a lesbian couple or a gay couple, or I mean, they make it look like the norm, which is not. If you look at the statistics, it's not. And I have nothing. I couldn't care less, honestly. You're gonna think I'm a racist, and I hate blacks, and I hate gays and all that. I don't really care what you think, honestly. Uh, and I don't care how people live. That's the fundamental difference between a liberal and a Republican is a Republican doesn't hate the other side. I don't know any Republicans that hate liberals. We just think they're stupid. And as you get towards the communist socialist stuff going on in New York, uh, it's beyond stupid. It's concerning. It's concerning because of the topic in this film, and that is the deterioration of Western values, Western culture, and our history and our legacy and everything that we stand for. It's getting superseded by religious fanaticism, race hating, race baiting. I was born in 1965, the middle of the biggest racial infighting of all time, practically. I mean, with Martin Luther King and all that stuff. I mean, I thought we were going to be behind that, but we haven't progressed at all. And now we're seeing the left use it as a vehicle, the uses a vehicle against the other side, which is just preposterous. I don't get it. But I know where it's coming from, and if you don't believe it, do some research, because it is concerning. There is large amounts of money funding what I call social anarchy in this country and in the UK. I got George. If you haven't ever heard of George Soros, look him up. He's funded $40 million minimum trying to get every DA attorney that he can with a left-wing philosophy voted for, and he was, one of the ones that he was able to get into the system was Sharon in Los Angeles, and he was so bad that he got pulled out. I mean, even Los Angeles, they'd had enough of the bullshit and got rid of him. But his whole focus is the deprosecution and decarcerization in the name of racial equity, and it's creating an imbalance, in my opinion, that we potentially are going to be paying for sometime in the future. Another guy we need to watch out for is a guy named Neville Stigum. He lives in China. He is a socialist Marxist, and he funds every global left-wing protest group that you can imagine. These guys, there is. I'm telling you, it's more than just your average Republican or Democrat. There is a large-scale shift in the way countries do battle today, and I believe in my heart that the countries like China and Islamic countries are using racial discord to try to advance and to deteriorate and destroy long term. Chinese have always been a very long term thinking group. If it takes 100 years, they're fine with that. But they're trying to destroy our Western values. And they're doing a pretty damn good job of it. Honestly, I don't know that it's going to be fully successful in my lifetime, but I think it's a warning call, and that's why this film I think is very important. If you look at this and just say, well, this is some race baiting, Islamophobic, racist shit, you're falling into the trap. You're falling right dead into the trap. If you don't believe this is important, just Google, just look at the news every day. Look at what's going on in Ireland and the UK right now. I mean, it is really, really bad. Hell, just today I saw a 31-year-old Central African immigrant raped and murdered a 2-year-old girl. in England. This shit is unbelievable, man. The problem is there's a lot of problems with this. One of the problems is, and I get this from, I'm an avid chess player. Your opponents, you have to understand the mindset of your opponents to understand what they're trying to do. And if you don't think that immigrants, illegal immigrants, there's some other agenda, that they have a different mindset. If you're just looking at this from a racial equity, DEI, we're all created equal and let's love each other philosophy, you're the target. You're the lemming. You're what the Chinese and the radical Islamists are trying to prop up and just use it as a vehicle to destroy the culture, because you're soft. You're soft. You're a soft touch. You're not going to stand up for any kind of injustices that are going on. You're just going to be so trapped in your own mind of, well, if I say anything, I'm going to be labeled a racist. Who the fuck cares? Label me a racist. I don't give a shit. I care about the values of the Western civilization, and I know that there's absolutely a long-term attempt to destroy and take over eventually Western society with what I call 12th century mindset, 12th century values. Yeah, it's some serious shit. So while I think that Uwe Boll in this film used kind of a sledgehammer approach to get his point across, he did get his point across, and it's a valid point. It's something that I think needs to be discussed and not just brushed aside by the radical left and said, well, if you accept any kind of any kind of premise associated with this film, then you're just a racist and homophobe and Islamophobic. I mean, that's what they want you to think. You're a sucker. You're a soft touch. So that's my rant. This has turned into a rant, and I would be encouraged and interested in hearing your side of the story. But at the end of the day, we really do have to start taking a stand here. And every country in the world has immigration laws. We're acting like we're the only country that doesn't allow. Every country has a process and immigration laws. They don't just have a wide open fucking screen door that you all just walk through like we had under Biden and Kamala, where they were shipping them from prisons from Venezuela right to the doorstep, right to our doorstep. Every reasonable country understands, if you don't even want to go at this from the racial side, and if you just look at the sheer economics of this, someone's got to pay for all these people. They're not self-sustaining. There's a cost associated with everything you do in life. One other point I want to make, and I think this film did touch on it very well, and that's the legal system. The legal system is corrupt. And I mentioned George Soros. George Soros is doing everything in his power to destroy Western civilization through the legal system, which was a great strategy, an excellent strategy. And I think for the most part, he's failing. The Fannie Willis in Atlanta, and the crooked lawyer DA in New York that went after Trump, and it turns out she's doing the same thing, and now she's been indicted. Yeah, he's failing, I think, and I hope people recognize that and see it for what it is. And I've spent most of my business career getting into the mindset of attorneys, and attorneys are the death of Western civilization, in my opinion. If you let them run unabated, they are deal killers. The quickest way to destroy something, or the quickest way to not do something, is get a lawyer involved. They're the modern day destructionists. and I've had 30 years of unadulterated experience dealing with attorneys that they're deal killers. And if you want, and they're progress killers too. I mean, look at the fight that's going on between the legal system and what Trump has tried to do to like shore up the borders and remove the illegal immigrants here. I mean, George Soros, if you don't think there's powerful money behind the legal system trying to destroy the Western civilization, man, you're kidding yourself, dude. You really are. And that's my opinion. And, I think I'm fairly objective. One thing that playing chess has taught me is if you lose your objectivity, the guy across the table is going to teach you all about objectivity. So you may think, well, he's gone radical. He's lost it, and you can think that. That's fine. But that I just wanted to share my opinions on this because I think it's an extremely important topic, no matter what side of the spectrum you come at this from. And while Uli Boll, while he used the sledgehammer to get his point across, I appreciate him for actually being a voice crying in the wilderness with regard to this topic and using a very cool platform. I love it. I love revenge films, mainly because I've seen the legal system screw me so many times that I know that the legal system, is very unlikely to be an avenue where justice is actually served. And that's why our revenge films, I think, are so popular. You want to see the bad guys get what's coming to them because the legal system isn't going to be part of the equation. So I think Uli Boll, particularly, even beyond just the mass immigration issue that that the film is kind of couched in those terms, he did a better job demonstrating, I think, how bad the legal system is failing us as a society right now. So, okay, well, that's my rant, and I kind of enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Feel free to leave comments, and let's talk about it. Thanks for watching.